Hey guys, it's Allie. So February 1st was my 3-year streaming anniversary on Twitch, and I thought that I would make a little discussion video giving you guys some insight on what I've learned after 3 years of being a Twitch streamer as my full-time job, and maybe give the YouTube audience like a little bit of background about how I started and more about my streaming career a little bit more in detail. So I hope you guys enjoy learning a little bit more about me and how I got started streaming. I talk with my hands a lot, and I'm not Italian. I'm sure some of you already know the background story a little bit, but for those of you who don't, quick little background. I graduated college in December of 2015, and then, like I said, my first stream was February 1st. So I took a month to get prepared, convinced my parents that streaming was a viable career, and basically treated it like a full-time job, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, 40 hours a week or more, and just kind of went hard from the get-go. I basically gave myself like a 6-month leadway period to see if it actually went anywhere. I had saved up some money in college and was able to kind of survive for a period of time to fully dedicate myself to streaming. I didn't come from any other game or competitive background, so when I started on Twitch, I had 0 viewers or my 3 friends that I convinced to hang out and chat with me to keep me company during my first stream. I still remember my first 2 viewers, Dragon Ghost and Unknown Piglet. They hung out with me and my friends in chat for the first few streams and made it a really welcoming, enjoyable experience. When I first started streaming Hearthstone, I hadn't even hit Legend yet. So the first year was definitely the most difficult because my stream was progressing alongside my skill at the game. So I was learning as I went, which of course was accompanied with a lot of people in chat being like, wow, you're terrible, you suck, blah, 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 which was then of course accompanied by a lot of feelings of low self-confidence and self-worth. So the first year was definitely the hardest in my opinion. There was a lot of tears of not feeling good enough or, considering quitting multiple times. One thing I have learned from streaming is you have to have thick skin, and I'm a naturally pretty sensitive individual, so to open yourself up to the anonymity of the internet and have people say horrible things about you or like threats, you're stupid, you're like commenting on your appearance all the time, etc., like it gets to you. It does. And it would go beyond just the stream. It's like something negative that someone would say to you would just continue with you throughout the rest of the day after your stream and get in the way of your personal relationships. Like I would be in a bad mood, or I would be in a bad mood with my friends or my boyfriend because I would let what people would say about me during my stream ruin the whole rest of the day. It's kind of unfortunate that, 10 people can say really nice things, you're awesome, you make my day, I really love your streams, and then one person can say, you suck at this game, why are you here? And the negative comment is the one that sticks out to you the most. And I hate that our brains are wired that way. We should try and rewire them in a different way, but a lot of the time that's kind of our default, is to notice the negative and kind of overlook the sea of positive. And it's unfortunate that was kind of my reality in the first year. But one thing I find is most of the time when someone is saying something negative on the internet about you, it's probably more a reflection of their own insecurities than it is to do with me personally. But that takes time to learn. And like I said, I'm still learning it as I go, but that was something that I struggled with a lot in the beginning. And it, made me want to quit multiple times. And if I had quit, those people would have won. So I'm happy I didn't. I suppose it was kind of a risky move to pursue a full-time career in streaming Hearthstone without being like at a high competitive level with it yet. But I loved the game. I thought it was fun, and I was so intrigued by streaming as a career that I just wanted to go for it, and I did, and here I am now. You sort of get to an awkward point, or at least I did, in like the 100 to 200 viewer, maybe less than that, point in your streaming career where you're not full time, like you're not fully able to support yourself yet, and there's no guarantee that you will be able to do so. So it's kind of that awkward point of like, I didn't know how hard to commit. Like I mentally was going back and forth, like, you know, just keep going or quit, go get a normal job, etc., etc. And then when I remember at some point, I fully decided to commit to it 100%, like stop going back and forth, Allie, just like mentally decide this is going to be your job. Just keep going at it. And then if you fail, so be it. Before I stop talking about the beginning, the birth of Ychaira, can't forget. The birth of Ychaira happened probably within the first couple months of my stream. So for those of you who don't know, Alliestrasza, Ychaira, Ychaira. Alliestrasza and Ychaira are sisters in WoW lore. So background story for Ychaira. That was from my mod Java Wabs in the first couple months of me streaming, I believe. One of the things I love most about streaming is the personal connection that you get to have with people all over the world. I love video games, I love Hearthstone, I love playing games, but I don't think I would want this to be my job if it was my only obligation was just to play the game. Part of what makes Twitch so cool to me is the fact that I'm interacting with people all over the world on a daily basis, talking to them, me making their days better, brightening up their days. Like, people is what draws me to Twitch. Because of that, I think I have a generally a pretty like close relationship with my community, which has had its ups and downs. I don't really know how other streamers, like how close of a relationship other streamers have with their communities, and I'd actually be curious to hear from other people, like leave in the comments or something if you are a streamer. But yeah, I have mod dinners at TwitchCon. I have a Discord. I let people direct message me. I try my best to learn things about people in my community and remember them, ask them about, you know, things going on in their lives. And because of that, I've had countless situations where I've not been able to reciprocate friendship or communication for a viewer in the way that they expect. And that's led to them leaving my community, getting mad at me. And it's been hard for me because I want to help. I want to help people with their girl drama, or like they need advice for something. I want to be there for people. Like, that's what I love about Twitch, but I'd only have the capacity to communicate with so many people. And honestly, like, Twitch, as much as I love this part of it, you know, it's caused me to have kind of more like poorer communication with my friends, because if I'm interacting with a lot of people on the internet, on Discord, private messages and that kind of stuff, then that's time taken away from like talking to my close friends or my family. And so, you know, I've been in the situation many times, like I said, where I've disappointed people because I'm like, I can't be there for you the way that a normal friend would. So that has definitely been a downside. It's bittersweet. It's partly good that you can connect with people on the internet, but I feel like I've let a lot of people down in my community. With all that being said, though, the positives far outweigh any of the bad. I've made real friendships just connecting through my community. And one of the coolest things about it all is that other people have made friendships because of my stream. You know, people talk to each other every morning in my Discord, or they room together at conventions, you know, or at TwitchCon, that kind of stuff. So to know that my stream has sort of been the catalyst for other people making friendships, it honestly makes me almost like teary and a bit emo about it, because I think that's honestly one of the coolest things that's happened because of this. So it's not just me connecting and making friendships, it's other people too. If any of you are watching this and you want to pursue streaming, if you like the idea of what I kind of have in my community, I do think it is sort of on the streamer to kind of shape the way for how they want their community to be run. If someone's rude or says anything racist or sexist or whatever, like you get instantly banned. Like I don't have time for that. And so I generally have a pretty positive, friendly chat. In terms of getting to know people and building a community, like everybody has a story, right? So if someone comes into your chat and, how's their day? Like what's new with you? It goes beyond that, like trying to remember little things about what people said about their day, like building a personal connection by showing interest in someone is a great way to kind of keep people attached to the streamer. And like I said, I think I've put a lot of effort into kind of getting to know a lot of people, at least initially. And that's kind of what I think fostered such a tight-knit community. And I will give a massive shout out to my mods. I was really fortunate to just pick people that I thought were friendly and nice and personable, and they did an amazing job welcoming people to my community. So if I was distracted or busy or doing a play or whatever, it helps to have moderators that welcome people, because it's really disheartening to go into a Twitch channel, say, hi guys, like hello, introduce yourself, and then nobody say anything, So those are all things that help foster an active community, I would say. I joined my team, Fade to Karma F2K, in May of 2016. So I actually joined F2K rather quickly after I first started streaming, when F2K was pretty small as well. So it's been a really amazing experience to kind of grow with the team. My stream really started to grow more when I did get the attention of Blizzard. Putting yourself out there on pretty much every form, like Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, like that's all, every place that you are is more chance for eyes to see you. So apparently the way that Blizzard kind of discovered my stream was this wonderful girl, Molly Fender. She was the old Hearthstone community manager. She noticed my Instagram, and I was playing mobile Hearthstone on an airplane. And because Molly noticed the Instagram, she showed a few people at Blizzard, and then they were like, wow, this girl seems cool. She really likes our game. And then that basically just opened up the conversation with me with Blizzard, and I was able to kind of do different events with them, and that kind of, really helped progress my stream a lot. And I'm incredibly grateful for any support that they have shown me. So like I said, putting your content everywhere and anywhere, like not spamming it too hard, but just, making sure you're on all of those different outlets. Like you never know who's going to come across your stream and want to reach out and connect with you. The first couple years, or I would say the first year and a half, as I discussed earlier, I wasn't as confident in my skill, and I wasn't as good as I am now. And so I was very scared to compete, and I was nervous to do it. I got so nervous. But now I actually enjoy competing. It's a cool rush, and I definitely still get nervous, as with most people, but I don't get nearly as nervous as I did in the beginning. But as I started to grow with confidence in myself, I started enjoying competing even more. Even though I don't have the greatest competition RNG, my community can attest to that. It's a new sense of enjoyment, getting the rush of competing. So I hope to continue doing it in the future for sure. And the last year is when I really started to average about 1,000 people. I might average a little bit more now, which is obviously subject to change. That's one thing that's really daunting for viewers, is that, there's peaks and valleys. And especially if you ever consider changing games, which is something that I struggle with now. I still love Hearthstone, but I do want to branch out into other categories someday, and to know in the back of your head your viewership like pretty much cuts in half when you play something that's not your main game until you get to a certain point is really daunting. Like there are some streamers who do it now, like Disguised Toast, for example. I think I remember when he first stopped playing Hearthstone full time and was doing other thing, like he saw a pretty significant cut in his viewership, but then slowly over time he grew an audience outside of his main game, and now he's in a great spot. But so that's something that I am nervous about, but I think is inevitable at some point. Like I said, I still love Hearthstone and I still plan to stream it, but I do want to play other things, and I need to kind of be okay with, my viewership getting cut in half, like I said. So that's something that I think all streamers kind of feel. It's not always the most secure job. Like your viewership can go up and down, your subs can go up and down, your donations. Sometimes you have a really big donation one month and the next month you don't have much at all. So it's a very inconsistent job, as with a lot of other jobs too. It's not just streaming. Freelancing is really up and down as well as many other jobs. So this isn't something that's unique to streaming, but it is something that kind of like plays on in the back of your mind. As my career has gone on, it's not just streaming anymore. In the first year or so, it was basically just getting on the computer and putting in the hours and streaming. But now I feel like it sucks, because I feel like I'm at this point sometimes where I need to do work that isn't streaming, but the most important thing I think is being online. And getting those hours in. But sometimes you have meetings, or you're working on YouTube content, or you're going to a convention or a tournament. All these little things start popping up where sometimes the hours of streaming can become secondary when it really shouldn't be that way, but it does tend to happen, and it's really only happened in the last year or so of my stream growing. So people are like, well, what are you busy with? What's a part of the job that's not just streaming? And like I said, it's all those little things. If it's like sponsor meetings, or like I said, with my team, a lot of people are on teams that have like calls and meetings, other content. Like, as I said, the importance of being on things like Instagram and Twitter and YouTube, and all of those things really rack up in time. And travel is bittersweet for me. Taking time off, like to go to a TwitchCon or a BlizzCon, is, I think, advantageous to your streaming career. I've met people in the community. I've met sponsors by going to events, but that's also time away from being on stream. So a lot of streamers kind of struggle with the anxiety of taking time off, which is a real thing, and it's something that I fully still struggle with a lot. So that's another thing that, you have to consider when being a streamer. So I'm starting to come to a conclusion here of what I've learned. Obviously, I still have a lot to learn. I'm only 3 years into this, and I plan to keep streaming for a long time. I've said this so many times in interviews, but I really think esports is going to be as big as Hollywood or the music industry, or acting, music. Like, I really do think it's going to be an absolutely massive industry, or physical sports. Like, it will get there. If we live in a digital world, I really think esports is going to follow suit and be massively popular. And I sort of feel like I'm just kind of growing alongside it. Like, I'm along for the ride. We all are. We're watching this industry develop right before our eyes. So where do you see yourself in 5 years? Really hard to say. I don't know. I still like being the talent. I still like playing games and being the streamer. Maybe someday I will take a more like back-end role, and maybe more on the esports business side of things, but it's hard to say. I'm not really sure yet. Advice for any people who want to be streamers, or who are currently streamers and don't know whether to keep going, I would say trust your intuition. And that's not really special to streaming. That's just life in general. I do think the voice, the little voice inside of you, your intuition that's telling you one thing is probably right the majority of the time. And even through all of the times that I considered quitting and not streaming and just going and getting a normal job, I don't know, something in the back of my head was always just like, keep going, and I did. And I still have a long way to go. Like I said, I average about 1,000 viewers, which is really, really massive, a massive stream to some people. But in comparison to some that average 20,000 viewers, it's like I have no idea where I'm going to end up on the spectrum. Another thing that I've learned, you'll never be successful without other people trying to bring you down. No matter what you do, no matter what industry, no matter what job or career you're doing, if you're doing something right and you're growing and becoming successful, there's going to be other people that want to bring you down. I've had people in the streaming community say that they don't like me or say horrible things, and I'm like, you don't even know me. You don't know my personality. You've seen my stream maybe a few times and you've made your own judgment, but you don't know me as a person. So like, as I said earlier, don't take it personally. It's more a reflection of them. And if you're doing something right, someone is going to want to bring you down. And you just gotta keep on keeping on and not let it get to you too much. I know that's really generic, but it's really the truth. Also kind of cookie cutter, but I'll say it anyway. Stay true to yourself. Don't build your stream around something that you're not proud of or something that isn't you, because it'll eventually catch up to you, and I think kind of backfire. So be true to who you are and be confident in the person that you are. I know this is a lot easier said than done, but I'm saying it anyway. All in all, in conclusion, remember when we had to write essays in school and we had transition words? In conclusion, all in all. Lastly, I still have a lot to learn. It's only been 3 years. I'll probably look back on this video and be like, oh, Allie, so naive. But that's basically what I've learned in 3 years of being a streamer. There's probably a ton that I forgot, but I think I touched on a lot of points. I do think it's hard. I do think it's hard to make it on Twitch. Every single day, more and more people are streaming, but more and more people are coming in to watch Twitch, though. And I don't think there is a formula for making it. And the reality is that not everybody will make it as a streamer. But that doesn't mean that you can't work in gaming if it's something that you're really passionate about. And that doesn't mean I'm saying like go for it. Like if streaming is something you're passionate about, like absolutely pursue it. And streaming can be something that you enjoy. Like for all the things that I talked about, why I love streaming is connecting with people all over the world. That's something that you can still do after your job. It's something that you enjoy. Stream because you enjoy it, because don't do it for the hope of becoming a famous gamer, Like do it because it's something that you're really passionate about, and if it's meant to be, I think it will. Another thing that definitely deserves to be mentioned is my personal relationship. I initially went back and forth a lot, deciding how open I want to be with the internet about my personal relationship with my boyfriend, Mason. As I share so much of my life already with the internet, I've had a lot of fear and anxiety about letting the internet into my relationship with my significant other. So I'm fairly open about it at this point. My Twitch stream, if you've been in my channel for a while, you're very aware of Mason. Mason goes like Mally goes. His favorite color is blue. Mine is red dragonflight, blue dragonflight. Anyway, they know him and love him and are generally very positive about it. But it definitely has been a thing to kind of decide how open I want to be with it. But I will say, I know that there are people watching this that are like, oh my God, rip my life. She has a boyfriend. I'm not watching anymore. Bible thump. Like, I get it. I know that that's going to happen, but I think it would be a crime not to mention Mason in this video about my 3 years, because it really has been a joint effort between the two of us helping me grow. We were dating before I ever was a streamer, before I ever was on Twitch. He's actually the person that told me about Twitch, and I wouldn't even know what it was if it wasn't for him. I mean, maybe I would have figured out myself, but initially he was the person that introduced me to it all, including Hearthstone. If you're a fan of my content, if you're a fan of my videos, my card reveals, like everything essentially has been a joint effort between the two of us. He's helped me brainstorm ideas, and he even helped me frame this shot right now. Okay, talk.
Hello, my name is Mason, and I'm recording on one of the settings right now, trying to test out for the shotgun mic.
So if you're a fan of me, you might as well thank Mason as well. And not just Mason too, but I've had help from a lot of my friends, like my FDK manager, Tim, Alex Finden, who's probably editing this video, right, or he's the one who's editing this video. I've had help from a lot of people. All in all, in conclusion, I really do feel like I'm on the right path for my life. It sounds so cheesy, but I really do feel like I'm meant to be doing this. And there was a lot of ups and downs on the way here, a lot of tears, a lot of feelings of just not being good enough, and so many contemplations of quitting. And I still have so much left to learn, and hopefully a lot of places to go. But this is basically what I've come to know in 3 years. Like I said, there's probably other stuff that I've forgotten, but this is the gist of it. I hope you guys enjoyed me being a little bit more candid with you guys about it. Please let me know what you think of this video. If you're a streamer, if you want to be a streamer, just like let me know like what you thought. If you have similar experiences, if you have any other questions. If there's a lot of questions, I could potentially do a whole other video, but if not, I'll try to respond to some of the comments. But hi, or bye, my name is Alliestrasza. I'm 25 years old. I started streaming February 1st, 2016, and yeah. I don't know what's gonna happen from here, but I'm along for the ride.